I was 8 years old the first time I heard of Denali. I had just gone on my first backpacking trip with my dad, and he gave me a road atlas of North America. I fixated on all the national parks, and before long, I stumbled upon Alaska and Denali, the tallest peak in North America. But soon, attempting Denali unguided and safely became a goal. My first time meeting my climbing partners was 3 days prior, and our plane had already dropped us off on the Kahiltna Glacier of Denali. All in all, we had just under 800 pounds of gear between the four of us. After about a day and a half of waiting for weather to clear up, we hopped in the small plane and were bound for the land of rock and ice that is the Alaska Range. It was intimidating to stand on the Kahiltna Glacier for the first time and look up at all the surrounding peaks. After we unpacked our 800 pounds of gear, the plane soon took off, and then it was silent. Our only connection with the outside world gone for 30 days. We set up our first camp right at the airstrip, ready for the grind up Denali to start the next day.
Got a couple inches of snow. Had to clean off our tents. It's not too cold. It's about 30 degrees probably. We're pulling out of base camp here. Got our sleds rigged. Ben said that he's moderately stoked for this. The first obstacle is going down about 800 feet. A hill called Heartbreak Hill. Just a tad over 6,000. So from here to approximately 14,000 more feet of elevation gain to the summit. Weeks and weeks away, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've got about 4 miles uphill now, 1,000 feet of elevation gain across the glacier to 7,800 feet elevation. And this is one of the harder days of the entire trip because we're fully loaded. We have 180 pounds of gear. I just saw just about the third proper avalanche of my life. The hills, the sky, it's becoming golden. It's about 9:30. So many mountains.
At Camp 1, we started setting up our tents at 10 p.m., and little did we know that the mountains would keep us there for 4 nights, at the measly elevation of 7,800 feet. How harsh will 20,000 feet be on this mountain? I thought to myself. At times, the clouds would clear up and show the beauty of the Alaska Range. But the weather kept us in place, with inches of snow that fell, and one brutal cache day, where we moved most of our food 1,500 feet up the mountain to Camp 2. This system, known as caching, is essential to the vast majority of trips up Denali. At Camp 1, a common theme of Denali started to emerge, spending more days in our tents and around them than actually moving up the mountain. By the time our stay at Camp 1 was over, we were very well rested and ready to move camp in a single push up to 11,000 feet. Just about to pull out of Camp 1 after 4 nights here.
And we're heading back up Ski Hill to get part of our cache at least and head to 11.
We made it to our cache at Camp 2. Somehow it feels like we have more gear than we started with, at the airstrip.
This is what happens when you bring 60 days of food. Every time we want to cache something, we're like, nah, we want that. We want that. So I'm thinking, do we get to 11? And then we're going to be like, nah, we want that. And we're going to take this whole load to 14.
We brought, guess how many bags of shredded cheese we brought? We brought 8 bags of shredded cheese. Like 200 or 300 tortillas.
100 pounds of snacks at least.
Look inside of this snack bag. Well, pulling the heaviest sled of the trip so far for me. It's about 190 pounds. The sleds are pretty heavy. Well, we just recached most of our food at 10,000 feet, so we'll have to do a back carry in the next couple days. We're almost to 11,000, which means camp 3. A little bit more uphill to go. It's been a tiring day, but everyone's making the miles. It's about 11:49 p.m. here in Alaska on the West Buttress route. And this might be the best view of the trip so far. Epic sunset. It's pretty cold, so I'm gonna go to tent. How was it out there?
It was an interesting day.
The day started beautifully and morale was high. I was covered in sweat as we traveled up the lower glacier. But our day took a turn when we added weight to our sleds. Ben trying to re-rig his sled after some frustrating pulling. And the weather started to deteriorate. 11,000 feet is where the mountain started to feel cold. And at this moment, there started to be some tension on the team. The next day was a morale boost when we skied and snowboarded down to our cache at 10,000 feet and then brought it up to camp. That night, we made the decision to push our camp farther up the mountain to 14,000 feet. After getting back to 11,000 feet, we sorted out our food and were ready for the 2-day push. 1 cache day and 1 day to move camp. We're caching food around Windy Corner today. That's called Motorcycle Hill. This 2-day stretch here is gonna be perhaps the crux of the trip, the hardest 2 days. Got Squirrel Hill up ahead, and we're getting closer and closer to Windy Corner, which is exciting. We are just now entering the final push to Windy Corner. It's right above there. You can see the corner, and it probably will be windy. Surprise, surprise. Well, I'm at Windy Corner. Excellent views of the Alaska Range. Behind me is Denali, the summit you can see for the first time really since we started. Right there. Epic. Absolutely epic. These crevasse fields are massive. You could fit skyscrapers in those. Yeah, I'm just grateful to be here. From Windy Corner, it was just a short distance farther to our cache site, where we stowed away about 2 weeks of food. It seemed that at every step higher on the mountain, the views just became more magnificent. This is my favorite view from the day, above the clouds and looking to the vast north of Alaska. That night, we were back at 11 camp. So today is the last day of good weather before a big storm that's going to hit for 4 days or so. Packing up camp, getting all our supplies together, and hopefully by 8 or 9 p.m. tonight, we'll be at 14 camp. This was our 4th day in a row of moving our loads up the mountain. Once again to the top of Motorcycle Hill, trudging up the slopes of Squirrel Hill and around Windy Corner to pick up our cache, and then the home stretch to our new camp. Just pulling into 14K camp. Looks like we have a site, so let's work and prepare for the storm. Pretty exciting. Once we reached 14,000 feet on Denali, everything about our trip changed. Our whole strategy to that point had been getting to 14,000 feet with as much food as we could. After arriving at 14,000 feet, our goal was to make a push for the summit with as little weight as possible. Instead of being at one location for only a few days, we expected to be at this camp for weeks. And as consequential as anything else, our team dynamics changed drastically. 14,000 feet on Denali was a mental game, a waiting game, and an emotional game. 14,000 feet on Denali was the crux of the mountain. Here's how it played out.
So we have a big storm coming up that's going to keep us in camp for the next couple days. But right now, before that, we're trying to get up to 16 or so up the fixed lines just to acclimate, be ready for when the storm ends. Still really close to camp right over there. But yeah, we'll go up this hill and see how we're feeling at elevation. Not too far from the fixed lines, right, Noah? Not too far.
Almost there.
Feeling the elevation slightly, but like we're not dying or anything.
It is what, 15,000 feet?
Yeah, we're at least at 15.5 probably, so I think we're doing good.
200 vertical feet later, we were at the start of the fixed lines. Noah had taken longer than I would expect to rig his ascender to the line, but he had also never ascended a rope like that before. Once he got the system down though, he was moving fast up the lines. I didn't feel the elevation much at all. I felt great. But when we reached the top of the fixed lines at 16,200 feet, I started talking to Noah, and it is clear to me that he had the early stages of altitude sickness. So with the weather being what it was, and it being late in the day, I felt a very strong urge to get back to camp. And we did just that, in a very efficient and safe manner. After a short period at camp, Noah was completely back to normal. Our attempt at acclimating up the fixed lines wasn't perfect, but in the end, we made sound decisions and we're back at camp safely. But I also lost something super important.
Well, I've been kind of an idiot and I somehow lost my crampon. I only have one crampon at the moment, so we're going out to look for it.
Thankfully, my crampon was close. It had come off just outside of camp in deep powder.
And at the base of the hill was this crampon, my crampon. Unfortunately, there's a crack in it right there. You might be able to see it right there. There's a crack, and that's why it came off my foot. So we'll rig it up and hopefully be good to go after that. It's unfortunate that it happened, but it's honestly a best case scenario.
Yeah.
Here's Noah. Feeling better. Feeling a little bit better.
Fresh off AMS, mixed with haze. I'm back, baby.
It was really a turning point of the trip that day where Noah and I went up the fixed lines. Ben had already been questioning our competency to a degree, our winter camping skills, which I don't agree with. On top of all of that, we just came down without one crampon, which was lost just outside of camp, and some powdery snow. And Noah had altitude sickness. Not severe, but he had altitude sickness.
At this point, some real hostility started to develop on our team, and we split into two tribes, Ben and Nick, and Noah and myself.
We had two tents. It was Noah and I in one tent, Ben and Nick in another. And so we were just really fractured. We had been a good team up until 14, and really things just started to fall apart in terms of our dynamics. In some ways, I felt like Ben was starting to cut me out of the summit push. I felt alone out there on Denali, and to go along with those feelings of being alone, during one of the storms, someone passed away. They fell about 3,000 feet off of Squirrel Hill to the Peters Glacier. Someone also lost 6 toes from a summit attempt. A lot to consider, you know. Am I going to lose toes in the midst of team struggles?
In addition to the stressful team dynamics and the sadness knowing someone had died, the weather was brutal. All in all, we were stuck at this one camp for 17 straight days. Day after day after day, we were in our tents, waiting for a variety of aspects of our trip to improve.
Well, it's another day on Denali, another day of bad weather. I believe this is day 12 or so at 14 camp. We've only had 2 days of weather good enough to go above 14. Went up to the fixed lines one day, went over to the West Rib Cutoff another day. So yeah, next 3 or 4 days look pretty bad as well. So that'll bring us up to 16 or so days of mostly bad weather, some very bad weather. I think the most productive thing that I could do during this time is read, just keep my mind active and move around camp and build our snow walls. So that's what I've been doing. I've been slowly adding to the height of our walls and trying to improve camp in one way or another. I'm in good spirits. It is one heck of a mountain, that's for sure. It started to feel just like it was taking so long. There's a certain point where I found acceptance in the fact that I might not summit Denali, might not even get a chance to. And there's a point where I just realized how beautiful Denali is and how beautiful Mount Foraker is, Mount Hunter, 14 Camp. And I just became so grateful to just be there. And summiting wasn't the most important thing to me at that point. But soon enough, the weather was looking a little bit better after 17 days. And June 10th was looking pretty good for a push.
On June 10th, after 17 days at 14,000 feet, Noah and I set off for the fixed lines and the upper reaches of the mountain. Ultimately, the tension in our team prevented us from going up as a whole team together. Nothing, though, could dampen the excitement and freedom that Noah and I felt at the realization that we were at the final push to the summit. We raced up the fixed lines and onto 16 Ridge.
Climbing 16 Ridge, feeling a little winded now. Beautiful views though. Everyone says it's the best views of the trip, so pretty cool.
On either side of the ridge are multi-thousand foot drop-offs. And as you climb higher, even Mount Foraker seems to shrink in the distance.
Almost to 17K. Almost to camp.
Eventually, we made it to 17 Camp and set up our tent.
How we doing?
Me?
Yeah, how we doing?
We're doing good. Really good.
Yeah, we're at 17. We're a little dehydrated. We were dehydrated, but now we have water. And we're cooking up some mountain house now.
Yes, sir.
So actually, like, today went really well. Obviously, it wasn't easy, but neither of us are beat by the altitude.
Yeah,
So I think a night of rest and like all that good stuff will help us. Summit day tomorrow. Pretty exciting. I just hope my crampons don't blow off on the Autobahn. Right.
June 11th, 2025. A day I'll never forget. It started with the most deadly part of the West Buttress route.
Heading out of 17 Camp right now. Going up the Autobahn. Trying to summit. Beautiful, beautiful day. I'm so excited. Lots of fixed pro on the Autobahn from what I hear, so we'll be safe. And really, it's just a matter of fitness and how you deal with the elevation.
Noah and myself made quick work of the Autobahn, and soon we were at Denali Pass, 18,000 feet elevation. We unroped and continued on our own. From there, I was going fast up the mountain, passing other parties and being astonished when I crested one hill and saw the whole summit ridge before me.
Above 19,000 feet, I think the summit is in the cards for today.
I crossed what is known as the football field, the large plateau before the summit crest, and started up Pig Hill, the last true climb of the mountain.
Just climbed this, which is Pig Hill, which goes from about 19,400 or 500 all the way to 20,000. So I've only got 300 more feet up this ridge.
Not gonna say it's easy, but I'm in the home stretch, so feeling good. I have no headache, just stopping every 3 steps, I'd say, to catch my breath because the air is thin up here. So I feel pretty good with the altitude. But yeah, Pig Hill was brutal, like in terms of how slow I had to go to not feel like my heart was racing. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be the same way up Summit Ridge, 300 more feet. There weren't many things I could have changed to make my summit day better. Well, I'm winded, but I'm on the summit of Denali. Got Noah here. Pretty epic.
Feeling great, man.
Feeling good. He got here first, I got here second. He passed me on the summit ridge. And honestly, it was hard, but like neither of us have headaches and we're doing pretty good. So we'll see how our other 2 team members are doing in a few minutes. Go right to them. Gorgeous view. It's like looking out the gates of heaven. It's like being in an airplane. Amazing. On the summit, I was standing with my good friend Noah. Going down Summit Ridge. First time in my life I've had to take breaks going downhill because I'm winded. And on the way down, we felt very validated concerning our ability to climb Denali and our place in belonging on the mountain. Yeah. Because of the way we approached our summit strategy and acclimated, we felt very strong all the way to the summit, which is exactly how you should feel. In the tent that night, the mood and the stoke was on a different level. And the next day was more of the same. We slept in, ate the rest of our food, and reveled in our accomplishment. Also, just outside of 17 Camp is probably the best view of the entire trip. Looking down 10,000 feet of what we had climbed in the previous weeks, and beyond that, Alaska stretched out into what seemed forever. Now, if you ask me, that's the edge of the world. Sadly, we had to go down that afternoon. The views going down 16 Ridge stayed spectacular, and it was just a few hours before we were back at camp. We ended up staying one more day just to rest, and I'm really glad that we did. As a team, we were able to heal some wounds and come to a better understanding of each other's viewpoints concerning the events of our trip. It was also nice just to take in the beauty for one more day. Time for some hot apple cider. Brought it out here to celebrate. This is the last day of the trip. And it's pretty good. It's my last night, and I'll be leaving 14K camp probably at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Try to hit all the glaciers at a cool time of day, and get back to the airstrip safely from where we could fly back, hopefully the same day, back to Talkeetna. Absolutely amazing. Amazing scenery. At about 5 p.m. on June 14th, we started our way down from 14,000 feet, 3 weeks after we had arrived there. Our sleds may not have been as heavy as when we were carrying them up, but they were even more annoying. However, this day rivaled Summit Day as the best day of the trip. Being able to see so much of the mountain in a single push down really just gave me a greater sense of appreciation for what we had done and where we had been. By this point, it was about midnight. The sun set, but the light never faded. Denali stood stretched up before us, and that was so special to see. Soon, we continued down the glacier further. All 4 of us joined up again. We pushed relentlessly toward the airstrip. but my mind was slowing down in a moment of nostalgia. Who knows if I'll ever be there again? We were at the airstrip, and very shortly after, our plane was on the way and landing. I'm sure we smelled bad, but we hugged our pilots and hopped in the plane. And it was a fitting end to the trip. The Alaska Range. Peak after peak after peak. One standing above them all, Denali.